Hi there, my name is Igor, I'm CEO at Uploadcare. In the next 20 minutes, I want to share some experiments with asynchronous communication that we did in the last 13 years, some tips and tricks, and some errors so you can avoid them in the future. We started working remotely 13 years ago. And after several years, we started working asynchronously because we started hiring people from different time zones. When we wanted to hire best talent, in some cases, it wasn't possible to find good fits in our own city. Then we started hiring people from other countries, then from other continents. And right now, Uploadcare is a team of 40 from Tokyo to Vancouver, evenly distributed all over the earth. So at first, I want to highlight why we decided that we need asynchronous communication. Synchronous meaning that you need to respond immediately, basically right now. If someone calls you or you are calling someone, you need to respond. And why? Because you need to be productive. You need to do more work. Your employees or your co-workers, they also need to be working from the morning till the evening, normal working hours. You need not to block them, and you don't want them to block you. If you have an idea, you want it to be listened, and if they have it, they want you to hear. And it's leading us to basically more work to be done. It helps you to control people, to find out what they're doing right now. It helps you to help people, and it helps them to get help from you right now because they need it. 71% of employees report interruptions. Interruptions meaning that they're trying to be productive, they're trying to contribute to some very complex tasks. And if someone will call them and they need to answer, they will lose their focus and they will spend unnecessary time getting their focus back. Just imagine you are working on a very important project with a tight schedule and a colleague taps your shoulder. He wants to discuss some upcoming event. You stop your work and waste 45 minutes talking about the project that is not immediately due. It could lead you to an unproductive day, and your co-workers, they will not receive a result when they want to receive it. You will be kind of not really good motivated. Good example is a normal meeting in the office. A lot of people involved in discussing some very, very important things. But maybe there are too many. Another example, if you copy too many people in email thread, or just mention a whole channel in Slack, you're helping people to lose their focus. So what we did to remove this but still allow people to communicate, we implemented Occam's razor principle. It's very, very simple, and each of our coworkers, when they onboard to Uploadcare, they read about it. Meaning that there shouldn't be multiple entities where they are not necessary. We are trying to remove everything unnecessary from every process, and in this case, we are trying to remove unnecessary participants from every meeting. It's a very simple principle. It's called Occam's razor. To remove everything that is not really necessary from everywhere. It leads us to asynchronous communication. When, for example, two people, they participate in a meeting, other people, they will receive some meeting report later and they can read it. So it leads us to asynchronous communication. You can respond when it makes sense. You can respond now if you have time. If it's your special calendar slot where you read email, or you can respond later if someone can wait and you have other priorities. It's implemented because we target for results. And it's a very important step to upgrade your goals from work to results. What does it mean for this current situation? If you gather a lot of people in one room, you will definitely work more and you will get some results. But let's imagine that we put everyone to different time zones, to different locations. Two people can discuss something. Another two people can also discuss something. At the same time, some people in the different time zone will be sleeping. Some people will be productive, conducting some really useful activities. Someone can ride a bicycle. It doesn't matter, because in the end we will get more results. That's the main idea. But if you have a lot of people working on different subjects, we definitely need all of them to be in sync. But if they are not in one room, what should we do? What we did? So we implemented OKRs, objectives and key results, built somewhere in Dell or IBM, then implemented in Google and many other companies. This system allows us to show our team what the company is targeting to achieve in the next quarter. And then the people and teams, they can find out what they are doing, what they must achieve, and how it aligns with other company goals. And so the next thing we did, we created a team structure and published it for each and every one. And it's not like an official organizational structure, it's more about communication structure, meaning that people, when we onboard new people, they can find out who to talk to if they want to discuss or improve or kind of work with some process. They know where to go to. So what are the benefits of asynchronous communication? What we get from it? Why we invest time to build asynchronous? The first and the most important one, and I like it a lot, it's focus time. So with asynchronous communication, no one interrupts us. So we can execute complex tasks. We can reduce the amount of errors in some calculations. Our engineers, they can reduce the amount of bugs in their code. And the next one, and really important, is it allows us to work with different time zones. And it allows us to hire the best of the best, and it doesn't matter where the people are located, because we can talk to each other even if we have very different time. Next one is you will finally have a chance to digest and think before answering. So you can spend enough time to get more information and then to make an informed decision. Also, there is a fun fact. The problem can actually solve itself in the meantime, while someone is waiting. You will have detailed records of everything. So if someone will miss the opportunity to participate in a very important meeting, they will have meeting notes. And you can reuse this information anywhere where it matters. With asynchronous communication, every opinion matters. Meaning that if someone commented on important subject in Google Docs, everyone can answer, and it doesn't matter who it is. If the point is right, it's right. You will also have more flexibility. Your co-workers, everyone will have an opportunity to set up the healthy work and life balance. If they want to visit the gym in the middle of the day, why not? If they want to spend some time roaming around in some forest for 2 hours in the middle of some working day, why not? Because in the end, only results matter. This kind of communication has its pros and cons. In some cases, in most cases, the answer is not required immediately. So we allow up to 4 hours waiting time to get a response in project management tools, about 2 hours in chat and Slack. We also try to set up emergency channels. So if we want to discuss something right now, it's really important and it could improve the communication for the whole team. We use messengers and even phone calls. So it's still an experiment. It works, but we still trying to find the best balance. So the next important question is, when should you reply to the message if you received it? And the answer is, I don't know, it depends. And the rule of thumb for us, it's a common sense. If it's urgent, it's urgent, but if it can wait, you can reply, and you must reply with an estimated response time. In that case, someone will find out when to expect the answer, and you can continue working on your most important tasks. Of course, we had some challenges moving to this kind of communication. I will highlight only the most important of them. I highlighted the most important challenges that we encountered on the way. The most complicated of all of them is the mindset. So to move to asynchronous communication, we changed the mindset. And if the results are in the DNA of the company, you just cannot use the optimal communication methods. We need to lead changes by our own example. If we are ready to work asynchronously, if we are not waiting for everyone to answer us immediately, it will help you to scale this, and that's worked for us, at least. From my personal experience, there is a book that helped me to change my approach to this whole problem and to find out why exactly the asynchronous is really important and why everyone should change their approach. It's not even a book, it's an essay by Peter Drucker about managing yourself. It helped me to understand how many ways there are how people ingest and process the information. The paces are different, the approaches are different. There are audios, visuals, and other kind of crazy combos. And if we expect everyone to be able to properly answer in the real time, we will not get the best results. If we allow everyone to ingest and process at their own pace, we will become better as a team. That's why we moved to this direction. And also, that's how I found out that I'm not really good with Twitter and Reddit, because they are too fast for me. I like to invest more time in researching the subject to be able to answer correctly. So what's the next step? When we understood that we need to change our way how we communicate because we want everyone to be productive instead of working more, we are result-driven and we even started to change our own habits. Tools? Why not? But the tools are not solving the problem itself. The problem is an approach. That's what we found the hard way. Even an email. If you answer a mail right away, if you answer Slack right away, it's still synchronous. And there are many tips and tricks. Here's a list of tips that allow us to use the tools right, and it doesn't matter even it's Gmail or Slack or some other stuff. The first one is reminders. I use them a lot. I use them on Slack, for example, so if someone writes me and I definitely need to answer this message, one of the most important things is to answer every message, to use some kind of zero inbox, to use other methods. But if the communication is asynchronous, the people on the other end, they must be sure that you will answer them eventually. So if I see the message in Slack, I want to remember it, just add a reminder. For tomorrow, for example, from time to time I have about 12 of them, but I can answer everyone in one period of time. It can take me 30 minutes instead of taking my time in the middle of some other stuff. Second is workflows. The simplest of them is, for example, D&D in Slack or out of the office in Gmail. It helps you to automate stuff. Instead of answering people that you are missing the office hours and you are somewhere, we use workflows in Gmail, we use workflows in our calendar. So we have a system set up where we can mark yourself as unavailable for some period of time. It can be a personal few hours in a day, or it can be a whole vacation. We try to provide as much context as we can everywhere. So when we send someone a message, we don't send something like, hey, and we don't wait for an answer on our hey. We try to be very precise when we ask something. In that case, when the person will have time, they can provide enough information and tell you everything that you are looking for. The next thing is that we are trying to use screencasts. For example, if we have something really interesting and important, some graph or some information that we want to share to a part of our team, and everyone is located in different place with different time zone, we try to use screencasts like this one, this presentation. So when they have time, they can watch it and even comment on it. Previously, for this kind of screencasts, we used a kind of combination of tools plus YouTube. Right now, we are using Loom, and I used Loom to record this exact presentation. Another important thing, not to mention people when they are not really needed. In Gmail, we try to remove the amount of CCs as much as possible. Also for Slack, we don't use @channel, we don't use @here until we really need. And all of these tips are based on this Occam's razor principle that I mentioned before. When we try to remove everything that is unnecessary, to remove every interruption, to use D&D everywhere, we just need to use some tips that I mentioned above. Another thing that really helped us is Zoom. It allows us to communicate between each other when we have time, but we use it in a combo with another tool. And another tool, it's called Gong. So when we have any of our calls with our team of our customers, we use Gong to record and transcribe it. The beauty is that we can link to this record, we can link to some special part of this record, and also if someone prefer reading instead of hearing, they can browse the transcript. It supports many languages. The next thing that we use really heavily is our calendar. I think that we use most of stuff that the calendar can provide us. All of our calendars are shared. This is really important to understand when people have their focus time and contact them in between if it's something really important. Another important rule is that something that is not in calendar, it didn't happen, and it will not happen. In a combination with agendas and meeting notes, it means for us that we try to keep as small amount of meetings as possible. We keep the smallest amount of participants, and also with the meeting notes, we definitely have something after the meeting, something to share to other team members. We are also trying to be very strict with timing and moderation and trying to get the best outcome in the smallest amount of time possible. And another important thing that we implemented in the last year is that we exchanged most of the official holidays in all the countries to 15 flexible days off per year per each team member. Even if we try to work asynchronously, we still want to be in touch with each other, and it helped our team to communicate. And the last challenge I wanted to mention for today is the emotional health of the whole team, and especially for new members. The people are used to talk to each other, and if someone is located in a very different time zone, they can be alone, and we definitely don't want them to feel like this. We definitely don't want them to get lost, and we try to help them at least with two things: the navigation and the motivation. And here are some examples how we try people not to feel alone. The latest thing we introduced just several weeks ago is intercontinental breakfasts. Previously we had breakfasts for our physical offices, and right now we changed our approach and scale it for everyone. I think that it's the only one thing where the current situation in the world helped us. It helped people from many different countries to talk to each other without any working subjects. We just drink coffee, eat breakfasts, some of us eat dinners, but still we talk to each other, and it's on our calendar 3 times per week. The second thing is also Synchronous. It's demo days. We introduced them in the beginning of the previous year. We conduct them 2 times per month, and it's an event where everyone can present what they are doing right now and get some feedback from the team. We liked the experience, and as you can see, we even iterated it a bit to improve the format. The third thing that helped people not to get lost is our handbook. It's like a wiki. It helps to navigate between the teams, between processes, between where something is located, and it's available 24/7. The last, but I think it's the most important thing that helped us to communicate so well, is our team retreats. 95% of the year we try to communicate asynchronously, but one time or even 2 times per year we go somewhere together and spend 1 week with each other. That help us to communicate, that help us to synchronize, and it allows us to be very productive and very in sync with each other for at least half of a year after. Our favorite for team retreats is Finland, with their lakes and saunas. And to summarize, when we found out that the only results are really meaningful for the success of the business, we needed to change our habits and show an example for our team. We needed to change our way and our approach to using tools and to start using them right. And for the emotional health, one and the only important rule of thumb is don't let people get lost. Help them. Be nearby. Don't let them to feel alone. And that's it. Thank you. I hope that this new format was alright, because looks like many of conferences will be remote in upcoming month. If you want to download the slides, here is the short link. Thank you, and have a great, very productive synchronous or asynchronous day. Thank you. Cheers.